Hello everyone and welcome to the video, the first video of its kind on the channel in a little series that I am calling Driver or Car. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Inadequates or Rise to Occasions X or on their YouTube channels, but every once in a while they feature teams from select players, certain champions or players who have done really well in either the Show 6 Pick 3 or in GBL, and I thought, okay, we know that these people are expert level players. We know that these are champions in the making. But what if an average PvP user like myself uses these teams? How is it going to go for us? So I decided to try some of the teams that were listed on the Open Great League team recommendations. And the first team I decided to go with is Nickname's team. So Nickname is a Polish player who actually just top cut in Gdansk in the regional there, and also was the 2022 Bremen Germany regional champion. His team is going to be Shadow Dragonair, Clodsire, and Swampert. I talked to him a little bit about this team composition because I wanted to make sure that I'm playing it to its best of the capabilities, and the remarks that he gave me was pretty much, one, he didn't expect to see so much Skarmory. It's ABA sort of weak to it, in which case, yeah, you don't want to directly switch to Swampert, but then if you don't have your Swampert lined up on the Skarmory, it is going to be pretty difficult to work around. And the other thing is basically try to stay in with the Dragonair unless it is a charm user, in which you would move to a safe swap or your pivot Pokemon. Another small things that he noted was don't go double shields down on the Dragonair, as it's not always crucial to win the lead. It is more crucial if they have energy management and to save a shield in the later game for the other Pokemon. So I thought we would go ahead and give the team a try. So again, just a brief view of the team. The team is the Shadow Dragonair. It's running Dragon Breath as its fast attack and also Aqua Tail and Body Slam. The Swampert is a regular Swampert. It's not a Shadow. It is running Mud Shot, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. And then the Clodsire is running Mud Shot as its fast attack, and then also Stone Edge and Earthquake as its charge attacks. I actually played this team in both Open Great League and in Retro Cup since it was viable. I will show you how I did in each of these leagues. Actually, spoiler alert, I'm going to go ahead and already tell you that I did pretty darn good. In Great League, I went 4 out of 5 with this team, and I would have gone 5 out of 5, but I really misplayed. And then in Retro Cup, I also went 5 out of 5 with this team. So let me show you how I did it. Alright, in Game 1 in Open Great League, we have a Venusaur lead, so this is great for the Dragonair, and like I said before, going ahead and just staying in. I know that it wins Charge Attack priority over the Venusaur, so I counted up to when it would throw its Sludge Bomb, and then I threw the Body Slam first. They didn't shield, but now they're so low that I did shield. They'd swapped into the Altaria, and again, I know it's going to outpace. I want that Dragon Breath to do as much damage as possible, and then I swap into Clodsire just to go ahead and soak up all of this energy because the Sky Attacks and the Moon Blasts aren't going to be doing too much to the Clodsire overall. I am going ahead and charging up a little bit of extra energy here, throwing a Stone Edge, and I'm curious to see if they'll bring the Venusaur back in because mine is on mode or not, and then it comes into the Jellicent instead. Now this is not great overall. They do shield up the Earthquake, which is a heavier hitting attack, and a Surf at this range should be enough to knock out the Clodsire. So I am going to shield this up. I'm so close. Now I'm going ahead and swapping into the Swampert. We're both shields down, but I know a Shadow Ball isn't going to be enough, and I was expecting a catch, so I just go ahead and just keep farming down. I farmed that Venusaur all the way down to have this Earthquake stored and be ready to throw at the Jellicent. They're either going to throw a Surf or a Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball it is. Shadow Ball knocks me out. But now I know it's basically energy dry, and I'm going to be able to go ahead and Dragon Breath down. Game number 2 is against the Skarmory lead. Skarmory is the more difficult Pokemon to deal with because it now generates energy so quickly with Steel Wing. I am going to throw this Aqua Tail, and I know that they are almost at either a Sky Attack or a Brave Bird, so I'm thinking I will go to the Clodsire just to soak up the energy. I was hoping they would throw the Charge Attack, but they didn't, and in comes the Shadow Swampert, which is something that this Clodsire definitely doesn't want to see. Since it's a Shadow, it's doing 20% more damage, but it's also taking 20% more, so as you can see, that Earthquake hits hard. And now I'm going to be able to outpace because I think he wants to completely farm me down. I'm throwing the Stone Edge, and I get that shield from him as well. And so he goes ahead. Now he has a ton of energy, and this is where I make a mistake. So the first Hydro Cannon goes through, and I swap because I thought the Dragon Breath was enough to knock out the Swampert. If it was, that would have been perfect. Unfortunately, it wasn't. There is another Hydro Cannon, and I have to use my shield here for the Swampert, which is such a bummer. If I would have just stayed in with the Dragonair, it would have taken it out, and then I would have had basically a 2-shielded Swampert against a Skarmory and whatever's in the back. No shields on their side. At this point, I shielded up a Sky Attack, which is a bummer because I know that they're already now at a Brave Bird. And while it's not enough to knock me out, I now see that it is a Lanturn in the back. So if I had 2 shields, this would have been perfect. I'm still able to get to the Earthquake, almost take it out, able to Dragon Breath down, but I just don't have enough energy or health left on my Dragonair, nor my Swampert, and my opponent goes ahead and takes that game. Again, the only game that I lost in a set of 10 battles. Let's pause on that real quick though to talk about the team composition. This team is ABA weak to Skarmory in general, so Skarmory does have a lot of play, especially this season as well in Go Battle League. What I tried to do there, and maybe just didn't successfully do it, was I wanted to at least get some damage off on the Skarmory with that Aqua Tail, or I wanted to try to catch a Sky Attack or Brave Bird onto my Clodsire. I wasn't able to do either one of those. I still think it got rather close. It's definitely playable, but yeah, unfortunately for me, that one just didn't work out. All right, let's get into the last Open Great League battle that I'm going to show before we move on to Retro Cup, and that is going to be against a Shadow Golbat. Now, Shadow Golbat's charge attack is going to be Poison Fang, which lowers my defenses after it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and tank that first one, get up to an Aqua Tail, and throw this to at least get some damage off or get a shield. I do end up getting the shield, so I immediately swap into Clodsire to tank whatever is being thrown. If it's a Poison Fang like it is, it's going to lower my defenses, but even a Shadow Ball wouldn't have been able to take me out. I am able to reach this Earthquake, and as you can see, it does a ton of damage to the Swampert, but Swampert just continues to just chug away here, throwing right before I get to my next charge attack, and because I was debuffed, it took me out. This time I learned from the mistake with the Dragonair and Swampert though, and I just go ahead and let that Dragonair go down, come in with my Swampert to get that one extra mud shot, and now I'm in a good position for anything that's not grass with the double shielded Swampert. It is a double, and I want you to pay attention here at my timing. 1, 2, 3, 4 before I'm throwing. Now because Swampert is running Mud Shot, which is a 2-turn fast attack, against the Low Kick, which is a 3-turn, it's optimal to throw either 1, 4, 7, or 10. So as you can see, I did that. I'm also counting here. I know they were energy dry, so I threw right before they were able to get to another Poison Fang. And now this is a risk. I was thinking that they have 2 Body Slams stored, so I let the first one go, and luckily I'm able to get to that Hydro Cannon for the next, and this is enough to take out the double. So I think that was one of the most fun games, and a game that I definitely would have lost if I wasn't timing my charge attacks correctly. Let's go ahead and move on over to Retro Cup. Retro Cup is one of like the more limited meta cups that Go Battle League has created, and basically it's a cup that you can run anything except for Dark, Steel, and Fairy type Pokemon. So this team does fit into that, and also because there's no Steel, that means no Skarmory to be found. So yeah, let's see how we can play these out. The first game is going to be against a Vigoroth lead. Vigoroth does outpace, and the Body Slams are going to be hitting pretty hard, so I am opting for going for extra Dragon Breaths here and shielding up the first charge attack. Now I will throw unless they swap out. As you can see, they did swap out, and Jellicent actually does pretty well against my backline, so I'm forced to stay in. I'm throwing this, and I end up getting a shield, which is great. I also want a shield in case it's a Shadow Ball. That would have been enough to knock me out at that point. Since they did surf me, I'm also aware that they most likely should be able to get to another Shadow Ball. I think this is where my opponent makes a mistake because they just threw a surf, which is not very effective against the Dragonair, allowing me to get to yet another Aqua Tail, and I'm able to Dragon Breath down. So now I kind of have this switch set up the way I want it. Another counter takes me out, but Vigoroth against the Clodsire is pretty good because the Clodsire doesn't take very much damage from the counters, and Body Slams don't really add up that much overall. I am able to get to this Earthquake, they don't shield, and I'm just swapping immediately, and it's a Talonflame, and I'm thinking, yes, this is so perfect for me. Swampert does so well, especially because it's not a Shadow, but then this happens. There's a glitch with the iPhone right now that sometimes it just swipes you out of the game. And so because of this, they let a whole Incinerate go through. Talonflame does win charge attack priority, so I wasn't able to get my other Hydro Cannon, and I am pissed. It's not even good timing anymore, but I knew that I had to get to the Stone Edge because it was a double buffed Talonflame. Luckily, I was able to get that energy and still take it out, but that became uncomfortably close, and that is something, Niantic, please fix that. It's been happening more and more often, and it has cost me a couple of games as well. Alright, let's see this team now against a Lanturn lead. The Dragonair is great against a Lanturn, and they swap out into the Altaria. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I can get to a charge attack. I'm throwing this Body Slam, and they choose to let it go, so now I'm coming in with a Clodsire. Again, I'm soaking all the damage. I get a little bit greedy here, and I should have just kept charging away, but now it's charge attack priority, which is the worst time, in my opinion, to throw at that point, because now I don't have any extra energy, and they were completely energy dry as well. Because of this, though, I know that I will still be able to get to an Earthquake, even if a Surf goes through. I think they know it as well, and they don't throw it right away, just trying to get a ton of energy here. Now a Surf will go through. I still don't think it's enough, so I'm racing to get to the Stone Edge, and because I didn't farm enough ahead of time, they went charge attack priority, and they're able to take that out. In comes my Swampert, and in comes their Artibax, which is an interesting Pokemon. I love it a lot. I have to shield this up. It's an Icy Wind, so it's now lowered my attack. I bait with this Hydro Cannon, and I get a shield, which is great. I swap into Dragonair now just to clear the debuff and get as much damage off as possible. I also recognize I gave them a lot of extra energy as well, and they throw a Dragon Claw, which I don't know if that was right or wrong in this scenario. Because I'm able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons, the first takes the shield. The second one that I'm now throwing, I don't know if it's even going to be enough. It is not quite enough, but I'm able to get 2 Mud Shots to take it out. And then that only needs 2 more for me to get to this Hydro Cannon to take out the Lanturn. So this game was incredibly close, super well played, and yeah, just a lot of fun. I, again, love to see artifacts. Alright, and let's move on to the very last matchup that I'm going to show. Again, 4-1 in Open Great League, 5-0 in Retro Cup, so spoiler alert, I am going to win this, but it is against a Cradily. And Cradily is a Pokemon that actually works really well because it charges up its charge attacks super quickly. I do note that I win charge attack priority, however, so I'm throwing this first. They don't shield. I am going to shield just because I want to keep as much health on this Dragonair as possible. Then they swap out to the Toxapex, which I find interesting. I go ahead and basically store up a charge attack before moving into my Swampert because nothing this throws at my Swampert is going to be doing that much damage overall. The poison jabs are resisted. The skull or the brines that are coming through also, as you can see, are not doing that much damage. So now I'm basically at 100 energy here on my Swampert, taking this out, and I'm able to throw this Hydro Cannon at the Cradily that comes in. It wouldn't be enough to knock it out, but I do get a shield. Maybe it would have been enough to knock it out. But now I know it has a lot of energy. They do an amazing swap here. So I come in immediately and they swap out, but it's a Quagsire. And this is where I want the derpy boy to be. I want it to be against my Dragonair because the Dragon Breaths are going to be doing so much. So I shield up the Mud Bomb. I go ahead and charge up a little bit extra, throwing right before the next Mud Bomb, getting the last shield from them as well. And now, even though this Mud Bomb will be enough to knock me out, I still think I'm in a pretty good position. I'm able to Mud Shot down, and I know that I'm going to be able to get to a Stone Edge before they get to 2 of whatever they want to throw. It is a Grass Knot. It's going to be doing a decent chunk, as you can see, but I am able to get to this before they're able to get to another Grass Knot, and I go ahead and take game number 5. So that's a little insight into the team that Nickname had suggested that might do well in Open Great League. It looks like in this scenario, it could be the car, not the driver, that is making this go so well. It seems like a pretty well-rounded team. Again, you want to just be kind of wary about Skarmory and choose out how you want to play those matches. My suggestion is going to be either to try to catch the Sky Attack or Brave Bird onto the Clodsire, as those are flying type attacks and aren't going to be doing as much, but also be wary that the team is rather weak to it overall. Thanks again to Nickname for giving me this team composition and the little tips and tricks on how to play it. If you have any teams that you'd like to see tried, go ahead and drop them in the comments below and I will try to get to them. That's all we have for this video. Thank you everyone. Please like and subscribe.